Things just heating up here in the Blizzard Arena. Obviously here in Los Angeles. The hometown team needs a W. They definitely got the guns. Yeah, I respect that. Don't get me wrong. I'm all about them games, but the Valiant just need a win.
Yeah, same. I'm all about the games.
Yeah, you like the proteins, you know, you like
all that stuff. Yeah,
this guy, he's into it. All right, let's talk about their opposition though, because I think they're, to be honest with you, just a little bit more exciting right now. The Vancouver Titans come into this game on a hot streak, and there's no doubt about it. There were high expectations for this team coming into the Overwatch League, but Bumper has been leading from the front, man. This guy's a nut.
Yeah, I mean, you see #1 in hero damage in Reinhardt, win rate following the first elimination. So he's first. So when he gets the first elimination, they win 100% of those team fights. I believe it's around 11 total fights that's happened. But then you also see first death.
I think it was 15, actually.
Yeah, and so I mean, you see like when he dies first, not able to win a lot of those fights. Most likely they're backing out. When he gets those first picks, they're very effective 100% of the time. That's
so fascinating. That stat really shows how much of a centerpiece that Bumper is on this team. Now, different teams put different emphasis on that main tank player. For some, you know, they use them obviously to charge up the Zarya shields. Reinforce knows all about that. They also, you know, often use the, you know, in more teams that prefer to play Winston in their 3-3. It won't be like such a centerpiece. It'll be more of a lower economy tank player. But let's talk about some of the other people on this roster. I think the flex support matchup is also fascinating here. Izzyaki, Matt, his team struggled, but he has really risen above. He's definitely shone on a roster that has had a rough few weeks.
He's been like one of the only bright spots really for the Valiant thus far. And then Twilight on the other side has been a beast. You know, just like we have so many strong flex supports in the league this year. Like you know, last year you had a really nice crop at the top. You know, it was pretty clear to see who was the best. But this year, so many. I mean, look at the numbers for both of these players. I mean, the hero damage is insane. Final blows really high for Twilight, almost.
My favorite stat between these two, though, is that Izzyaki actually has the lowest first death rate in team fights of all Zenyatas. Twilight has the highest first kill rate in team fights of Zenyatas. So one's a survivalist, one is definitely aggressive, looking to get that damage done. That's a sick matchup. Two, I guess you've got two sides of the same coin. But now it's time to welcome the home team back to the stage. They need a W, ladies and gentlemen. Let's big them up. Welcome, the Los Angeles Valiant. Debated.
I was like,
Look.
I'm pretty sure I know where I live.
Yeah,
it's not Vancouver.
That ain't it. That is the Vancouver Titans, of course. I'm sure that was clear to you the moment they stepped out on stage. Yeah, like we said, a huge amount of hype surrounding this roster. I think Somin Su's a very interesting player. We often seem to be a huge part of the big self-destruct, Graviton Surge, Shatter setups. Everyone on this team is so good and crisp and clean at getting those big team fight wins.
I think the thing that surprised me the most is that they have all this hype coming into Overwatch League. They get here a little bit late. You know, they don't have as much scrim time as a lot of these other teams. It's like, oh, are they going to be able to just come in and just start beating these teams that had all the experience and teamwork last year? So far, so good. They've been sick, man.
All right, fam. This time it's for real. Let us welcome to the stage the Los Angeles Valiant. Perfect. I get it right every time. 100%. Anyone who says otherwise is completely wrong. So the Los Angeles Valiant, you know, the main support role has been a revolving door for this team. Custer is a Kooky, is a Custer is a Kooky. Today, obviously, it seems to be Kooky in the mix. They didn't have much luck with Custer, who actually played the entire series for them in their last match. So they're experimenting.
It's really weird. The match previously, they played Custer the entire time. The series before that, Custer just plays Control. So now we've gone to like their week 1 version where Kooky is now playing 100% of the time, at least from what we've seen here. You know, he's playing the first Control. But he's going to be playing their main support. So I just don't know really what the Valiant get out of this.
We have
like making all these changes. Yeah.
In all fairness, week 1 for the Valiant was actually very good. I mean, they lost the 2 map 5s against very strong teams at the time. Fate looked very good. Space looked exceedingly strong on the Diva role. He ate a heck of a lot of grabs specifically. Kareev, we've seen him on Isaiah, putting out huge amounts of damage in their last match against the Toronto Defiant, which was another close one.
To be fair, the Valiant, obviously without a win, they haven't looked like really poor, like a winless team. They've had some really strong moments, a good game against New York, a close game against the Spark. They just haven't really been able to get over the hump. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do it here.
No,
it's a large hump to get over.
Yeah, this is going to be difficult. More like a mountain. I think they might need a Sherpa to get over this particular hump, man. Anyway, here's your map set, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Toyota. And again, keep an eye on that first map. Nepal is where it begins here. Remember, this is normally the map the Valiant would have Custer in for. However, the change up in the support role likely isn't going to be the deciding factor for this team. Both players have shown strengths and weaknesses alike. We really need to be looking towards the tank line.
Yeah.
And make sure those support ultimates aren't layered over. Now, we did see that a couple times with Custer and Izayaki last week. When we see Sound Barrier and Transcendence at the same time, it's rarely a good reason for it.
I think it's more of how do the Valiant deal with the aggression of Vancouver and specifically Bumper. Really aggressive. Like, he makes a lot of plays where I'm sure there are other Reinhardts in the league who go and they watch, and they're just like, where is he going? Like, what is he trying to do here?
Remember, when Bumper gets the first kill 100% of the time, Vancouver have won a fight. However, if they lose him early, it's a double-edged sword.
You get Fate low.
And he's got to chill in the corner right now. Fortunately, the Valiant have control of the points, so Fate actually has somewhere to hide. Otherwise, well, they wouldn't be so lucky. The Discord orb made it a little bit tough for Fate to hang around. He's trying to keep his shield in a position that he can actually use it in these fights. You see, he keeps it. Oh, he gets booped in to the Titans. Looking like they were trying to chomp him up pretty early on here, but the Valiant are trying to twinkle toes their way out of this one. Bubble given over towards Fate there, just got fairly low. He's down to half Bumper. He's missing. Both main tanks are traded out. So Minsu, though, very well charged up. And the Sound Barrier is already drawn forward for the Valiant. Like Transcendence in the fight. So Minsu forced to back away. You get stunned up. But Kareem was removed by Haxal. Player advantage now for the Vancouver Titans. And the Valiant didn't even take the point in the first place. So it's not like they're getting percentage in a long fight. Vancouver Titans get themselves out of that position.
No, they're going to push forward. They're going to get the kill onto Izayaki, so that'll force the Valiant to wait even longer. So, they used the grab to just take Kareem out, as Kareem did have a ton of charge. They probably knew he had a grab of his own. Summon Su comes up with 5 eliminations in the first fight. 33% of all their damage.
A lot of damage being spread, and we were on board with him. We saw how much charge he was toting. However, the Valiant now have a Graviton, whereas the Vancouver Titans won't, at least for the next couple of moments. We'll see how quickly they can build it up. Bumper tries to go for the Earth Shatter there, and it will be a nice little stun of Kuki in the backline. Slime gets the Sound Barrier now as Izayaki just finishes off with his Transcendence. Graviton Surge. Fate has the shield up for this one. It's not enough to keep Agility. He's alive, though. Haxal is able to get him through the shield and then find Fate immediately after. So Minsu on cleanup duty once more.
It's just, how do you deal with this aggressive play style? Like, they're just, like, it seems chaotic when you watch it, but they have so much experience playing together that it's not, like, it looks really unorganized, and you're just like, the Reinhardt's just running past people, just beelining it towards the enemy's end. You're like, the hell's going on? But
the only player with the death, despite Vancouver being so aggressive, is Bumper.
Yeah.
And that's maybe not a huge shock. They use him as a battering ram, as a blunt object in many of these fights. Slime trying to get the boot forward on Fate there. He was stunned up briefly. Now it's going to be the rally from Agility. Fate does have an Earth Shatter, but he's struggling to find a good spot to use it. Those pillars are blocking line of sight. It's making a hard ult to hit. Look at Slime just propel his team forward with a speed boost and with a Transcendence in play. Fate is going to struggle big time. Vancouver Titans win one more, and they go to 86%. The Valiant have one more fight if they're lucky. But Space dying so late, it's going to be so brutal.
And Fate is like in the worst position a Reinhardt could be in. Just moving backwards with the shield up, just praying to stay alive.
Fate might actually have to be the one who touches here. He's in the top left from So Minsu's perspective. He can't get there. Just absolute dominance. Again, the only player who lost his life there was Bumper. And that's entirely acceptable if you're the Vancouver Titans.
I mean, I know the first point here, you have the Valiant only picking up like one actual elimination, just one kill. That's the one death to Bumper. And it's Vancouver pumping out 8,000 more damage than the Valiant there.
Which is about 40% more. It's a lot.
It's nuts. So we move forward.
I just love Bumper there on camera earlier on. I apologize to his team probably for feeding. Sorry guys, for the delayed once. Sometimes it just be like that.
You see Winston come out on this point. Reinhardt, very static. A lot of opportunities for Lucios to just boop them into the pit. I mean, around the point.
They love it, right? Lucios can go access so many parts of this map and then swoop down. secure these stuns. Bumper needs to be careful, he's forced to back out, but he gets out pretty cleanly in all fairness. Bubble given by So Min Soo, definitely elongating his lifespan, but Haksal gets one over first. Kuki was a little bit too close to So Min Soo there, and Agilities went over the edge. Slime shutting it down there. Kareem also falling to his hand, and in a fight the Valiant otherwise should have won. They got the first pick, Matt. It gets turned on his head.
Yeah, and at that point, you know, both of the tanks for the Valiant were actually still alive. Both Fate and Space trying to put some pressure onto the backline. Bumper just jumps right for Izayaki, just jumps right on top of him. Loses line of sight of his tanks, so you have no healing coming in from that Zen, and you get all those kills picked up. Vancouver doesn't lose any of their supports there towards the end.
Bumper will just sit around the corner there, a little bit of a tickle. Fate already taking a lot of damage, and Kareem pushing forward even after using his bubble was at about half. Look at him getting knocked back there. Slime almost giving up his life to attempt to knock some Valiant players off the map. But here's that Graviton Surge now. In comes Bumper, drops in, he got a bubble as well. Gonna give everyone a bit of a tase. And the Valiant haven't touched the point yet. They've been forced to fight off to the side, and they've been losing the straight 6v6 every time.
How many teams do you see take team fights where Vancouver was fighting right there? You usually see, like, if the other team's going to speed boost, maybe they play in their own corner around by their mega health pack. Vancouver just jumps and they meet them right by where the health pack would be to the right, like this little cut.
Look, the more time the Valiant spend fighting on this left side, the less time they're spent trying to actually capture the point. Here's a Primal Rage from Fate. Now, you'd think the Titans are in a bit of a dangerous spot for that one, but they move up. Graviton Surge now from the Valiant just to hold them in place, and Primal Rage from Bumper. You can see he's getting very aggressive. There's no way Kareem's getting away with that one. Bumper, he might have more work to be doing here. Over the edge, Kuki punishes though, double from him. Johnny and Bumper go over the edge from the self-destruct, helping secure. Sound barrier now for the Vancouver Titans. For 3 players, they still want to expend this ultimate, which is bizarre to me. They still want to try and fight Fate. The healing's going to be there, or is it? So Min Soo shuts him down. The Valiant still haven't taken the point, and they're being forced to pay so much for this fight. With 3 players, the Titans hold them at bay. And the Valiant don't get a chance to step onto the point. It's 87-0.
Since Vancouver took the point, the only person we've seen step on it is Space there just to get back. We haven't even seen a fight near the point. Now the Valiant, they're going to be forced to go out here and fight on the point.
No one in their right mind takes a fight there with a sound barrier. That's astounding to me. Slime, oh, Izayaki over the edge.
Later.
Never transcendence to use, but I still need the presence, the body on the point, even the healing now being lost. Oh, God. This is pretty one-sided. It's about as much as you get.
For a struggling team right now, like the Valiant, this is one of the worst matchups in the league you can have right now is Vancouver steamroll through map number 1, Mitch. Not too close.
This is the first Vancouver game that we've gotten to cast, man. I had to admit that I wasn't even ready for this level of dominance. Fantastic showing from Vancouver. Real good understanding of when they can take a fight and when they have to leave it. Usually the latter just doesn't seem to occur to them at all, but that's map 1 for the Titans. Woo, we'll see you after the break.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back to the Any Percent run of an Overwatch map. Your runner, of course, is the Vancouver Titans. That was a very, very rapid opening to this series.
That was quick. If you went to the bathroom, you may have missed map number 1.
That's right, and I feel for you.
But it was also your poor decision to go to the bathroom as it was beginning.
You know, it's ironic because I called the home team as they came out as the Vancouver Titans when I meant the Valiant, but they might actually end up becoming home crowd favorites if they hang around here long enough with this brand of Overwatch. It's exciting. People would love to see it.
Yeah, I see people walking out of the jersey store out front. Vancouver jerseys now. Everyone's throwing them on. Nah, it's not happening.
No.
Now all the Valiant fans still hanging.
They're already sold out to be honest with the first one.
Still hanging.
All the people that really want you to know they watched Apex, they already bought them. So, yeah.
So you're saying Wolf and Achilles bought the whole store?
No. I also comp OW, but most of them, yeah. Let's get out of the gates here with the Valiant. They're playing that Reinhardt-based composition, so obviously that means that Fate again goes head-to-head with Bumper. Nose to the grindstone, if I've ever found a better time to use that term. We know what the Titans have done on this map prior.
And, you know, on Nepal, I don't know if we'll see it as much here on King's Row, but those Slime as Lucio getting all those boops going high off the walls, like using like the speed boost almost from behind and then pushing Fate into them. It's pretty sweet stuff.
Expect more of the same. I know that Slime likes to descend from the heights. See if Fate took a Discord orb there. He's still wearing it. So he doesn't really want to keep his shield down for too long. You can't just take poke damage when it could have essentially be his demise without him realizing it. Look at the pressure on him, really. He's just not giving any room to breathe. Now, like, Bumper just gets to walk up. To go for the kill. Fate's down. Huxell's also traded out. Transcendence already. Big credit to Izzyaki for generating that so quickly, but the reality is Twilight wasn't that far behind, and the Valiant were the ones without their main tank when that fight began.
I love the way that Bumper plays. Like, how many Reinhardts, like, he's over by the car, and like, instead of like just kind of going around or whatever, he just jumps over the car, standing on top of it, swinging the hammer, like, just starts pushing right in. And the Valiant still with, well, also, true, you also have Kukian, right, who's a main tank turning into a main support with what it looks like. It's like, you know, he's not, I mean, he has experience, obviously, playing the role now, but no, you can't really rely on him to always speed boost in. Oh, that is a sick combo. So they actually use the boot, then the shatter. Not able to go with it. Sumitsu, though,
good
big
timing
grab.
From Kareem. He actually gave out a bubble, and he bubbled himself, so he didn't get knocked down. Now the Valiant have a sound barrier to push forward. Maybe they've used the aggression of the Titans against them. The Titans also need to go for that sound barrier, and Sominsu's bubble dissipates. He is then cut down to size. And Vancouver are pretty low on players right now. It's just the 4 remaining. Janu, no mech, and the Valiants able to turn that signature aggression against the Canadian squad.
And I think you can, like, we saw the Shock do that, right? You know, when the aggression came, this fight, they may not try and give this up, as Slime's going to try and get a touch. Now, Vancouver's not giving this. They want to fight it. They do not want to give the Valiant this first point.
I'm not shocked at all by that one. Earthshatter from Bumper doesn't connect. Fate was up there with the shield, had the presence of mind to throw up the barrier despite the fact that he was swinging for the fence moments prior. But Agilities has gone down. That war of attrition now starting to go against the Los Angeles Valiant. Izzyaki the only man to get a kill. Kareem finds one now, but it won't be enough. Janu, Sominsu pushing forward, and Huxell always leading from the front. And the Valiant dejected back to spawn, tails between their legs. And it's back to the drawing board.
And I think everybody's been there where, like, you know, you play in a game and, like, you're right there on the point. You don't think they're going to come out, and everyone's kind of, like, happy. Like, you just see everybody's faces, you know, for the Valiant on the stage. It's just like, man, like, we are that close to taking it. 94%. Now we only got a minute to go, and look at this. Vancouver pushing them back.
Rallies from both sides. Sominsu completely charged up. More than happy just to stand out and take a bit of damage. Note the rally armor on Sominsu makes him a 500 HP character. Pretty filthy. Here comes a self-destruct in the back. How does this change positioning? Pumper's forced to back up, and Huxell was able to shield himself, even if he'll split off with the rest of his team. Space goes down first, and Twilight's holding on to the Transcendence. He can use it if he needs to, but he just doesn't feel it's necessary yet. But he gets shattered. He may not have a chance to use that Transcendence, but it's a sound barrier anyway to come out. That means he's kept in the fight long enough to use the defensive ultimate if he needs to, and now is the time, apparently. Self-destruct from Janu does force the Valiant back, but Fate still wants more. They're still sat on the point. The Titans have to challenge this one now. Sominsu for just a second dips his toe on there. Janu and Huxell caught up inside the Graviton bubble from Sominsu. Not enough, but they trade again. Fate is down. Janu loses his mech, and finally the Valiant get across the line. Scant seconds remaining on their attack, and now they can continue to play Overwatch.
I mean, it was just like Slime able to jump on and contest, and Hacksaw would come out, Janu as well. Like, they did a great job of burning the clock, right? But And now as we go through this second stage of the map, this is where like the chokes get much smaller, right? Where I feel like the aggression can pay off a little bit more for Vancouver. When it's that wide open and there's a lot of areas for the Valiant to just kind of pick and choose to attack and disengage, it's a lot easier to just kind of deal with that aggression. This will be the toughest part.
Both Brigittes is going for the rallies. Sominsu just trying to work down that shield. Graviton surge, so Fate can't follow up on the Earth Shatter that he laid down. Agility's missing. Transcendence from Twilight now, and the Titans have everything they need to push this fight down. Kuki knocked to the floor. Fire Strike didn't find him, but Bumper just skipping through, swinging the hammer as he goes. Laissez-faire as you like. And a minute 40 is on the clock for the Valiant, and they are going to get spawn camped.
I think the Valiant right now, you come out of spawn, you have grab self-destruct as
This is straight out of the San Francisco Shock playbook, by the way.
sitting up on the high ground as Bumper, no fear, just chargers down. Look at this, it's almost like we were back on point A, right? They kind of got all the way back as Kareev's gonna have to try and land a really sick grab here, and the follow-up's got to be there.
They may not know it. It's probably pretty hard to track ultimates in such a chaotic game. I wonder what Kuki's call is on that, because the Vancouver Titans don't have a ton to work with currently. This would be a good time to strike while the iron is hot. Kareev sends a Graviton into the corner. Bumper is caught up with that one, and the defense matrix from Janu can't keep him alive.
They'll have to back out. Vancouver just using the speed boost to just try and get all the way back. They cannot afford a stagger here if they want to attempt to take this on point B. Ooh, that's a big one because you lose the speed boost as well. They're going to use Transcendence here when they get a few players knocked down.
I trade Shatter for Transcendence any day in Fate's position. The Valiant are happy with that. This is ordinarily where the attacking team should start snowballing a little bit. If there's any team that can kind of defy this trend or this rule, it would be the Titans. They have an Earth Shatter to work with and a Sound Barrier. Let's see if that's going to be enough, Matt. 24 seconds left. Bumper just barrels forward, but a Sound Barrier immediately coming out from the Valiant. They know they had to stand their ground
early.
here. Haxel pushing forward, and there's the Shatter. Agilities goes down. Fire Strike isn't enough to take him down. Fate has to eat that one too, and Bumper's shield is very low. 10 seconds left, and the payload is inching ever closer, but Sominsu is ready with that Graviton Surge. He fires it off crazily to the right-hand side, and that falls with the Transcendence out of Izayaki. The self-destruct, is the setup good? It's good enough. Kareev is down, 5v5 with Fate. A wild charge, claims Slime, self-destruct. But that might not even be necessary here. Twilight has to go for a sub-ideal Transcendence just to try and stay here on the point. We are in overtime. Janu gets himself the bubble from Sominsu, but with Twilight missing, there's no staying power left for the Titans. The Valiant have to fight tooth and claw for every meter.
I thought the Sound Barrier from Kuki may have been a little bit early because the Titans could have just sat on the other side of the cart and just kind of waited it. They used their Sound Barrier maybe a few seconds after that, but the Valiant, like, they are having to work so hard to just get to the final part of these points as more aggression comes out from Vancouver. It's going to be the Shatter that comes in here from Fate, connects to anything, but you see how far he gets booped. They're still able to keep him alive, and Kareev gets a pick.
Haxel was the one that got shattered there, the only connection. And that's enough for the Valiant to at least gain some ground. The Titans eventually aren't going to let them just move up as much as they wanted. Before Agilities could get healed up by the Transcendence, he went down. Sominsu just gave him a little sock in the kisser. And now in the 6v5, the Titans are definitely going to take back this ground. And the Valiant know better than to try and challenge this kind of team at a player disadvantage.
Let's see how the Valiant play against this. They have to know that Bumper has a Shatter. They've constantly tried to set these Shatters up with Slime. As you see him up on the high ground, try and land a big boop here on a Fate, knock him out of the way.
Slime in position there just to mess things up. That's the
stun.
boop. Fate goes down. He was the one actually booped into the small room there, and now the Valiant have to back up the Transcendence. Oh no, Kuki! He was hoping for a Sound Barrier. It gets interrupted in midair as he's taken down by Slime. And the Valiant needed that ultimate so badly. That was the fight they had to win with 3 seconds left in the round. They're not getting anywhere near this payload. Brutal, savage, wrecked.
So, Fate trying to keep himself up towards the end there. Just not able to do so. I went to go put the shield up. Take a look at what happened, you know, when that happened. But Slime did a great job throughout the map, just kind of displacing him time and time again. We talk about Lucio and how effective his boop is to force players into different positions. And it's quite different than what at least I've seen when we've casted other teams, is that, like, you know, Slime's always on the flank or like on the high ground. I think Moth from the Shock, we've seen him do that.
I think Neptuno was also a big culprit in that kind of style as well. Because you'll notice that Lucio players like that don't tend to have as much healing. I think there was, you know, in the previous Philly game, it was actually Neptune had way less healing than Phasix, but the boots were real.
And you see right there, you know, if Fate, he's trying to, you know, put the shield up and then get inside potentially, and he actually gets hit with the bash there from Hacksaw. And then Kuki's off the side. It's GG after
Even
that.
if it's not setting up a 4-man self-destruct kill, just getting the one is enough. The boop there. You did also see Slime descend from the high ground as well to get that boop in there. A lot of pressure is being aimed at Fate. I think the Vancouver Titans have astutely identified that Fate, you know, this team sort of rises and falls on the performance of their main tank. And with the amount of pressure that the Titans are able to put on Fate, you see Bumper just sort of look like he's frolicking the meadows, you know, picking some daisies. He looks like he's not being pressured to nearly the same degree. And his aggressive play style is enabled as a result.
I mean, when you play aggressive, it forces the other team to make different mistakes and different calculations. And if you don't have a main tank who's really vocal and decisive, it can cause a lot of indecision with the rest of the team.
That ain't it, as the Chief might say. Need to be on the same page. So far, the Titans are just going to move up to the statue and trade some pokes. So Min-Soo definitely wants to get a bit more charge before we see a full commitment from the Titans. He's struggling on 12 charge.
Not getting it,
Let's see how that works. The Valiant want to take the fight early, but Kuki gets caught out, surrounded by the Titans. Bumper just getting shoved backwards here. It's like dodgem cars between these two Reinhardts. Janu also very low. So the Valiant managed to strike early. Decent timing considering the Titans weren't in a great spot to match the damage output.
And it looks like Kariv has a bit of charge, as I know you see Azaria blowing up here. Big shatter.
Oh, Fate. Great connection on the Bumper. That's what we need to see from him in this match. Big shatter.
A little bit of the tactical crouch there.
So now we actually see the opposite side of the coin. Fate's able to get more aggressive, swing forward. Note that he's almost lapped Bumper in terms of his ultimate charge here. So he's at 33, Bumper 51.
Janu just switches off and right back to D.Va. Doesn't want to wait to, you know, put down some damage, get a new mech.
He will lose the ultimate percentage that he'd accrued prior, but it probably wasn't that great considering the Titans were kept at bay. Here's the Graviton, though. As soon as the Titans try and make a move, the trap is sprung and Slime splat on the wall. Fate stunned there, but he's standing inside. A lot of healing with the rally now coming halfway through the fight. But Kuki falls to Twilight here. 5v5. This is going to be Izayaki forced out to use the Transcendence with the Graviton to keep them alive. Bumper forced to a deal. He's another big shatter. Rack up 2 for Fate.
And they invest sound barrier here, the Vancouver Titans, and they try and keep everybody up. It's just not good enough as Twilight's actually on the flank. They may be able to make something out of this.
This will be classic
Vancouver. They're going to use Rally here as well.
They have that spawn advantage,
force them back.
They have less far to walk to return to the point. And look how low Kariv is right now. No, huge burst healing available until Agilities gets back to the rest of his team. And the repair pack has a fairly high cooldown, so it's not always available. Here's the push, though. Another rally from Agilities. Trying to get their hands dirty for the Valiant. Kariva's nice and charged up. He managed to survive after the previous fight. Here is the Graviton surge. Slime trying to get involved in that one. No chance to do much else. It was Twilight who had the Transcendence. That is a solid shatter. And that's Janu! If you do it every map, it's not special anymore! And it, yeah. There it is. 3:50 on the clock for the Titans. It's crazy that they take the fights that you expect. Like, so many teams, it's almost like the Titans played less disciplined as far as the eye is concerned.
You know what that looks like? That looks like a NYXL last year. Every time you think the fight is over, like, they'd be down like 3 players, and they somehow come out on top. As
that setup. Look at Bumper just come straight through. Oh, delicious. Delicious. All right, Graviton surge now. Kariv says, I don't have enough charge for this. I don't want to fight right now, but the Transcendence from Izayaki kind of is the starter's pistol for the Valiant. They have to try and make something out of this fight. Bumper pushing forward. I mean, he'll have another shatter in no time. Look at how quickly that ultimate percentage is accruing. It's insane. And with Fate being the first casualty and Kariv being the second, it's a big W.
And you know what? It was only Fate that was stuck in the grab. As you see Valiant being pushed all the way back to their next spawn point. You know, they used the Transcendence just to keep Fate alive, and then Vancouver just backs away, and then they just put so much pressure they lose Fate again before it even starts. Bumper earns himself another shatter during this. So it's like, what did you really get out of the Transcendence? Like, you saved Fate, but would have been worthwhile to hold it and save more. Like, let's say if you got shattered, you could have used it to save everybody, right? You could have potentially had another fight there. Like,
So Min-Soo is just going to make it so it's impossible to see this grab coming. Pushes forward. Oh, I'll take a little bit extra charge and then backs away. Fate's shield is really low, so the Titans, there's no reason for them not to push more aggressively here. PC Bumper just pushing forward that Earth Shatter. With the Graviton Surge now from the Valiant, but self-destruct. There it is, perfect! That's what Fate had to do. Great Earth Shatter to set that one up in space with 4. So many self-destruct kills.
Bumper was trying. He was holding his shield up. He knew that Fate had it, the Shatter. He just had to turn it the final second, and Fate times it perfectly. He's like, okay, you have 2 options. You either die holding the shield towards me, or you turn real quick, I shatter you, then everybody dies.
I.e., you can't win. Here's that Graviton, here's the Transcendence, here's the self-destruct over the top, another bumper charge! A little bit too early, but Agilities was caught. Fate goes over the edge anyway. It was a less than optimal setup with the self-destruct, but the Titans still get a huge win off the back of it. And it's Slian that sends Fate into the pit. Yes, this is Sparta, and you are not prepared. Keeping that Haki. That was almost a stagger there. Just kept alive a little bit longer than the otherwise needed to be, and that payload's about to sink into the golden box of victory. So Minsu might want to try and imply that he has a grab, but it may not matter. Fate gets to the point. Axel trying to charge Agilities out of the way as he tried to keep this one stalled off. They're just going to get pushed away at the moment. Fate down. So much pressure. So many shatters. And Bumper once again brings the house down on top of the Valiant. And that'll be it. Space to be desuited and another map. Another W for the Titans. Or at least on that attack. Damn, they look good, Matt.
Yeah, Vancouver making a statement. They just watch NYXL play, get a big win. They want to keep pace with them in the standings, would need a win here. Get themselves 2 maps right away. Vancouver looking dominant, going in the half up 2-0.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered.
Bumper and the Vancouver Titans keep that hype train rolling. They are currently looking fantastic with a 2-0 lead over the Valiant here in the Blizzard Arena. Welcome back, everybody. It's Puckett. We've got Bren, we've got Zoe, and we have another undefeated team showing off on the stage today. The Vancouver Titans taking it to the Valiant so far.
Just flexing all over the place, aren't they, Puckett? Yeah, it's a joy to watch.
A joy? I thought it was painful, honestly.
You're a Valiant fan.
First round, they rolled all over Valiant. In fact, they were wearing them like socks. I'm shocked. I didn't expect it to be that one-sided. Yeah, I said that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about clothing.
They were getting worn. Brent, can you show us some detailed breakdowns of who's
I've got
wearing
some,
who and
some
how?
Insights powered by Intel. Apologies for cutting you off there, Puckett. It's all about what Vancouver do well, and that is all about the disengages. As we play this out, you can see these guys, they're going to be meeting in the middle. The first thing I want you to look at, Bumper gets very low. This means he has to disengage away from them right now. He's got to go away, back, away with the rest of his team, try and stay alive so they can maybe win this fight out. Vancouver Titans, they go, they disengage away, but Valiant, they want to jump straight on that. They're trying to take advantage of this, they're trying to get a pick, and they do get a pick onto Haxel. But Vancouver Titans, they recognize how they're going to win this fight. They spread out equally, and then they capitalize back off that. And this is something the Vancouver Titans do very well, and that is punishing teams and forcing them to make mistakes. So they knew the Valiant were going to be going into them. They knew that the only way they were going to win was by playing spread out. And this is something that they do time and time and time and time again. And Vancouver Titans are so good at it. Just disengaging whenever they think a team fight's going a little bit skew-whiff, and just finding a way to just win it back again when they really shouldn't. They should not be winning these team fights, but they do it anyway. It's just, it's beautiful to watch.
You don't want to play them on any map that you can get knocked off of, is what I took away from that clip. You saw Bumper knocking people off. Slime was in the feed as well. And in fact, that's the name we're going to focus on, not Bumper. We're focusing on the Lucios here today. Why did we want to highlight Slime? What is he showing us here in the first half?
I mean, he's showing us the cleanest Lucio play I have seen in a long time. He basically just didn't die whatsoever. He got probably some of the most kills in there. He had an insane amount of hero damage, had fantastic sound barriers, and just overall got so much done for his team. It was actually insane to watch.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, Zoe. When you see these big Earth Shatters, these big self-destruct kills coming off for these teams, it's always the Lucios that are setting up, and they're the unsung heroes when it comes to these compositions. Slime is paramount for Vancouver Titans' success. He is really, and again, look at that. Again, the boobs coming out from him. Face gone. He's in the drink. I don't think there's any water down there, but there might be. Who
It's
knows?
a little warm down there. I think
It
it's
is a little
molten
warm
lava,
down
but
there,
we'll talk about that later. For now, let's take a look at the numbers. If you're looking purely at the hero damage, 3K more. Not too bad there from Slime going up against Kooky.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's good for the Valiant that the second map looked a little bit closer, I dare say, a bit more competitive. Yeah, they managed to actually hold it for a bit, because before that second round, that stat card looked a lot different. Yeah, so I'm glad they could bring it back a little bit, but overall, Slime definitely has been leading the board.
One of the ongoing issues we've seen for the Valiant is swapping in players. Is Custa going to come in for the second half? Is Kooky going to be in there for the second half? Backstage, we were saying it doesn't matter. The question is, Brent, is this a 4-0? Will Vancouver clean sweep the Valiant tonight?
No question.
No question. Valiant fans, you going to take that from Brent?
Probably not.
Looks like it. We'll find out how this one plays out in the second half. Don't go anywhere. We got plenty more Overwatch League when we return.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Very quick series so far in this third game of the day. It is the Los Angeles Valiant struggling against the Vancouver Titans map. Perhaps not something that we were too surprised to sort of see coming into this game, given the difference in standings between these two rosters.
Yeah, not too surprised. I mean, the Valiant have played better than this in their previous matches. This is really, I think, just Vancouver just showing how dominant they could be. And I think the Valiant, you're just kind of seeing this, when they start mixing around main support and they start, messing around with other things in the roster, like, you just don't know where this team's at. And I think getting a match like this is tough. You needed something that was more of like a gimme, or one that you knew was going to be a close one, right? Like, coming in here, this has been tough.
Look, I was outside after the LA Valiant's last game. I was out there just having a sit, getting some fresh air, and a few of the Valiant players were out there and they were not looking happy. They take these losses to heart. They take them very seriously, and obviously this is maybe not a game you come into going, we're definitely going to win. But they definitely want to show a bit more of their depth here, especially with the constant revolving door that is that main support position.
All right, let's see. Yep, changes coming out of this.
Just a quick peek. Ooh, okay.
The Reaper?
Now, we have seen a couple teams try and make this work.
Oh, no.
The attacking Reaper. Sort of like go outside.
You know my thoughts on the Reaper pick.
You didn't like it. Who was it? Was it the Hangzhou Spark?
Yeah, it was a Spark.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think the team that we casted them going against, they were actually running a Rhine on defense, and they decided to run Reaper. We'll see if it works out better here going up against the Titans and Bumper, who's running Winston, which, if he plays it smart, he's still going to be able to get a ton here.
Slime.
See players just get moved off the high ground. Slime making an impact again.
I mean, that's huge. Denying the Valiant the chance to attack the point from the high ground and actually to force the Vancouver Titans to fully commit.
He's going to primal.
Yep, he's feeling it. Into the back line straight away. Bumper getting stunned up briefly. Space down to half, and Bumper's not in a hurry. Oh, Yaki! No call lessons for you. Twilight shut it down straight away. And the Vancouver Titans batter down the gates. As Solomon Su, as charged as he is, there was no way the Fate was going to escape, and the Titan should have this one tied up nicely. Kareem now on his own. Reaper, not so great when everyone's paying him attention. He's like the reverse pageant queen.
So here's my thoughts on the Reaper composition, right? That you put a lot of pressure on, obviously Reaper picking up kills just with his shotguns, because his ultimate, there's so much like crowd control on the other side, and obviously 3 support ultimates. You're going to be able to kill him out of Death Blossom rather quickly. So it's really just relying on his primary fire to be able to pick up kills. The issue with that is if it doesn't work, Space now playing Zarya probably has to go to Diva, then Kareev has to go to Zarya, and you lose any type of build-up towards a Graviton Surge, which in these compositions is really kind of like your game-changing ult.
That's the Graviton there. Kareev is able to shadow step out of that one, and now trying to go for the Death Blossom, but
there it was.
no one of the Titans really cares. Janu just ate all of that up. Bumper is taken down, though. Here's the coalescence. Let's see if it makes up for the one that Izayaki was denied prior. Solminsu is very charged. I know you've heard that about a bajillion times this series. Get used to it. It's not changing anytime soon. Into the back line goes Janu, and here it is. Sound barrier now coming up from Vancouver Titans, trying to stay nice and topped up in this fight. Bumper will return to the frame momentarily with Primal Rage, which is going to be doubly frightening for the Valiant. Just the one tick. It doesn't look like they...
If you were going to switch, this would be the time for the Valiant.
They didn't get a full tick either, Matt. Just shy of that 33% they needed.
Yep. So they're going to make the change here. Kareev will go to Zarya. I like this. This is what the Spark didn't do yesterday. The Spark gave it like, 4 or 5 tries with it.
Here I was waiting to see Kareev's Diva match.
Seconds.
I've been denied. My Afternoon Delights, I've been denied.
I mean, you do have you're going to be starting at the bottom here for Transcendence as well. Vancouver's smart, though. If you're Vancouver, I take a close fight. Yeah, you get aggressive if you're Vancouver. You realize they don't have anything. I mean, they have a Shatter, they use it here, they connect with nothing. Because this denies them building up any type of ult progress towards their new ults. Izayaki is going to get to like 47%, but look, they're going to chase this kill.
Ooh, Bumper. Yeah, he gets out. He had the Primal if he needed it.
So smart.
Even if he wouldn't even use Primal to survive there, he would have just respawned, come back to the point.
But it's just having a really good understanding of the ultimate economy game. You have to invest nothing. You deny them from building towards anything. You play it against the clock, and now look at the Valiant. They have nothing to work with here. You got to rally.
The whole series is right here for the Valiant.
They're going to grab. They may not even touch.
13 seconds. Otherwise, they're done. It's pretty much the series in the balance now. They come forward. Bumper just lands on them. They have to make a beeline for the point, but half of them get held back with the Graviton Surge. Oh, it's only Agilities that's actually on the point right now. Well, you know he's not along for this world. Quite my dear friend, Semela. Ouch!
But that's kind of what happens when you see that Reaper comp come out early, and then you change, and you have about 60 seconds to go. It was a really good read from Vancouver that they saw all the changes. They decided to jump on it right away, not invest anything themselves. They're able to pick up a kill. And if Fate actually uses his Shatter there, it's like the only ultimate you kind of had outside of the rally to potentially try and make anything happen. And you don't really get close.
Is the Valiant's problem here, in comparison to the Titans, is it fundamental or is it purely strategic?
Would it be weird if I said neither? They look like a team who's gone through a rough stage here at the beginning of the season. And I think the most frustrating thing for the Valiant is that you probably feel like you have a very strong roster, which, you know, in some places you do. You're just not able to take the practice and the skill and turn it into wins. When that happens, you know, you start to get down. You know, the vibes start to change around the team, right?
A little bit of vibes.
It's really easy, like, when you're winning, it's really easy to keep winning. Like, when you're losing, it's really easy to keep losing, because, like, it's just turning that around. It's really tough. And I think, you know, having these games against, like, the top teams, like, really early on, it really puts them in a tough spot for the stage, puts them in a tough spot, like, mentally for the team, just, like, how do you get over this? And then I think you look down at the peril of, like, the whole season. The season's not as long. I mean, it's as long as it was last year, but not as many games.
No, I mean,
how do you make these games back up?
A loss here essentially guarantees the Valiant will not be in the Stage 1 playoffs if that wasn't already sort of.
I don't worry. I ain't worried about the stage playoffs. You ain't gonna see Bumper play May. Come on now. Come on. You guys know better.
Hey, what do you expect? You watched enough Overwatch to know better, fam. Come on.
You guys can't be getting tricked that
easy. Debated so easily.
I know it's kind of common when you go home and play, your main tank switches over to May.
So you get everyone out there just playing 2-2-2 and no one else getting questions.
It doesn't really happen here.
Nah, fam. Come on.
We'd launch an investigation if it happened here.
All right, up the stairs. This is normally not the route that teams choose to make, but I think there's so much confidence about the Titans that they can actually take a fight like this. Oh, really? They let Bumper into the back line and then it just charges Agility forward. 3 kills already for the Vancouver Titans, and Janu, who's just chilling on the point. Got his picnic lunch, gonna open it up quickly, just do a drive-by and take care of his Iaki, then back to business. That is the one tick that they needed, and the 3-0 is guaranteed. The Vancouver Titans, impervious, utterly resilient, and indomitable in this matchup. Bumper, all smiles, Matt. Can you blame the man?
Oh, he's got all the rights to be all smiles, man. 6 series this far from Vancouver. Well, the final map coming right after the break.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Comprehensive drubbing here by the Vancouver Titans of the Los Angeles Valiant. 3 maps already down. Series winner already decided. The Valiant have one more map to play in. At least perhaps the pressure's off them here, Matt.
Yeah. Well, you got to feel for the Valiant. I mean, this has been a really rough start to the beginning of their season. I don't think a lot of people expected them to struggle as much as they did or have. And I mean, you see the guys. I mean, it's tough, right? You're just stuck on stage. You don't have any answers. You're just kind of searching for answers. They're clearly not here today, but you still got to play this 4th map, right? You know, they could the meta could shift. They could go on a crazy run. You know, later in the season, every map matters, right? So,
how many buzzwords can we just like let go? You know,
throwing them out. I'm just letting them go.
It is true, and the reason why things are a little bit different now is because there are less games per stage, so teams won't necessarily play every team in order. So, you know, teams have different strengths of schedules into these stages, right? But what's most important, of course, overall is that they make it to our grand finals at the end of the year, which is why, again, that map differential is something that needs to be taken into account, especially in stages where there are 3 less games than there were in our first season. It's more likely that you have teams that have the same win-loss records, and that needs to be separated by map differential.
And Vancouver, I mean, they look calm up there. They're having fun. The camera's going by, bumpers waving to it. Hey, how's it going, guys?
Throwing up hands, you know?
No, they're loving it. I mean, they're having themselves a time up there, and they've really just kind of embraced being here for the Overwatch League. You know, really wanting to take it to the competition that was here last year. You know, I feel for Harsha. This has to be one of the toughest coaching jobs ever. As Repel comes in for Twilight, Harsha's back there like, hey guys, keep going out there doing what you're doing.
Just get out there.
Yeah, great job.
Get out there and play some Overwatch.
Hey guys, keep playing the game the way you're getting.
So that's a substitute, obviously, in the flex support role. And I believe Repel was only fairly recently announced. At least if I recall as much. But this may be his first time. I don't think I've seen him.
No, and I think you know, for the game 4 here, you give Twilight a little bit of a break. You know, he's had a tremendous series from the start to the season. Maybe you feel like you don't really even need him to take this, you know, 4th game. Get some stage experience.
Absolutely. I mean, on the side of the Valiant, this is still an important experience for them. They say you either win or you learn. And I think I said this about Shanghai last year, but now it's been the Valiant that have been learning a lot.
Shanghai spent all last year learning.
Yep.
It's paying off now, though.
That's right. They got that. They done gone and got learned. Rialto is going to be our 4th map here. A map where we've seen like solid defense has been kind of hard to break by attackers.
Yeah.
Like you know, it's kind of in the same way we saw Dorado in the prior series where teams have opted to defend very close to the attacker's spawn. We may see a similar thing here from the Valley. It really depends how chipper they're feeling after, you know, having their extremities handed back to them over the course of the last 3 maps.
And I can't stress this enough. You know, Valiant, they do have very good talent in the front line with Fate and Space. You know, 2 very good main tank and off tank players. Izayaki has impressed everybody with his Zenyatta. He's really hyped up coming in this year, and you know, he's kind of lived up to that. It's just everywhere else it seems like they've kind of faltered. I think Karib has played quite well in the Zarya role as well, but I think time will tell if he's a full-time DPS player.
The Valiant do want to play close on this defense here, basically rush straight into spawn. Sominsu from above. A biting grenade here could be devastating. Kuki and Karib get hit by that one, but Karib bubbles immediately to remove the effects of that anti-heal.
I think they're just trying to get like a hook and a pick here, and they don't get it, so they'll switch right off.
From the high ground now, Sominsu will want to try and stay up there and send someone down to be the bubble recipient, or drop down himself. The payload's moving, but Haxel kind of gets caught up there. The Valiant push very closely to the Titans. See a lot of very low health bars here as Janu, probably the most critical of all the Titans. As Easy-Arky has so much room to get this damage done. The Titans have to split themselves off now by sending half into the spawn.
Yeah, they just go into the spawn though, and they get fully healed up.
Kind of like this.
Not ideal. You don't want to be spawn camped here. Is the Valiant, they do have Shadow, they have Transcendence here, so he built up 2 ultimates.
Somitsu just waiting for people to peek out.
Well, they can't push forward because he's just going to beam them down and put down a ton of damage.
It's probably the Transcendence is there now, so the Valiant don't have to worry about the charged up Zarya above them. But they didn't find any kills in that window, so the Shadow had to be here. Haksal is connected with, but Somitsu was there. The damage was always going to be coming, and no one the Valiant was really going to be able to respond to that. Izayaki just being almost staggered by all appearances there. And finally, the Titans get out the door. The Valiant, I mean, what's your take in now? If you're the Valiant, are you happy with that one? Hey, you sort of win a fight.
I mean, you win like maybe let's call it like 2 fights there, and now you'll come back with another opportunity. We see a lot of times where teams are able to hold in this next choke as one of the tougher chokes to get through in the game.
Kareem to move up here. Oh, okay, just lobs that Graviton Surge in there. A lot of confidence. Sound barrier here for the Vancouver Titans, so somehow Slime was still able to touch the ground and get that ultimate off. Same can be set up. Kuki here as the Graviton was responded. Oh, I saw that bump. You can't hide out from me, mate. Nice little Shadow to set Janu up. Me, a Sharkcaster. Oh my god, Janu, what a god. You, an intellectual. Excuse me, it was obviously Bumper getting an Earth Shatter or the boot from the Lucio. I get it, guys. So I've been having the same conversation for days with you. I feel you. I feel you.
You sound quite angry.
I am so mad.
So, Haksal, push on up with Bumper and the rest of the team. It's going to have the Valiant are going to use the rally here. Haxal's going to hold on to his. Yeah, you're just going to kind of sacrifice everybody. I mean, look, they gave up rally, and they don't really, I mean, they win that fight, but like it's not even really a fight. It's just Haksal and Bumper putting pressure on. Now you come back, you'll have your own rally. You're going to get closer towards Transcendence.
Isn't this
you're
the classic description of forcing teams to use those ultimates?
Yeah, I mean, did you really need a rally there to kill just Haksal and Bumper when
it's
you
kind
had
of a
like
weird
more
ultimate,
players?
right? Because the healing isn't as much as Transcendence per se. It does leave that sort of residual armor if people are healed up. I mean, it's just
but it just turns like it turns like Brigitte into like a really like she's tough to take down. She becomes like an offensive.
She can 1v1 Reinhardt's quite happily.
Yeah,
in that mode. It's
so it's
ridiculous.
Like, did you need to use that to run in, and you had teammates there, and you know Bumper as soon as the rally is popped, we saw it from his POV. He just stood there. He's like, okay, mission accomplished. He was riding the payload, chilling.
Take a knee, my friend. Around the corner.
Like, I'm tired.
Yeah. Why are you tired? It's been a short match, mate. No, exactly. A marathon run in the Naya. Bumper making the sprint with the rest of the Titans. So far, so good. The Valiant set up on the high ground here, but the Titans actually all stick low except Somitsu. So the threat of the Graviton from an off angle is always going to be there. Now, he's not charged up, but what he needs to do is get off a nice grab here, and he's kind of done his job. And I would consider that. I'd find out under nice grab. Bumper blocks the Shadow from Fade. He was desperately looking for something, but Bumper still falls foul there. Of that self-destruct, nice little bash there that came in from Agilities to set that up. Remember what happens when the Titans lose Bumper first in a fight. They rarely win. The double-edged sword strikes true once more.
So they'll hold on ults. Back up here is Kareem doing a nice job. Ooh, staying charged up. That's a big kill. Don't know how much
charge Somitsu had. Well, not very much at the start of the fight.
Yeah. But they'll come back. A grab here for Kareem. See if he can land. We have not really seen, in the 2 matches that we've done today, really like the Divas eat any Graviton surges. I think it's just more of a product of the Zarya players in the league, just getting a bit better. Just knowing how much defense matrix is left, knowing where to time them, different like wall positionings, so they just hit things right away. I think you'll see less and less ultimates eaten as time goes on.
Interesting. Not so easy now. Bumper has an Earth Shatter. Sounds like the start of every horror story that's been leveled in the Valiant's direction so far. Somehow he's behind them. You know you're scared about this. You know Fade is looking straight at Bumper with that shield gun. Please don't do it again. Transcendence was not enough to keep Slime alive, though. Somitsu getting backed up a little bit. Bumper, ooh, this time the Shatter doesn't pay off. And you know what? Yeah, he goes over the edge with Fate.
Well, it's just like the chaos of that whole sequence. It's like, okay, he's past the cart. All right. he's behind us. It's like, I guess we'll try and use it. Like,
I mean, are you trying to
don't
stop
really know
yourself
what
from
to do.
getting staggered? Also, with Fate dying there, like it could have been the Valiant just like whitewash that fighter, just a 6-0, and Fate gets more ult charge. So Bumper giving up his life does take away Fate's opportunity to get more ult charge by staggering him.
You know, this map has been, at least the first half here, has been much closer than we've seen throughout the series this far. You know, the Valiant did look pretty good at King's Row, but Vancouver was able to take that in the end. So now you have this grab. You don't want to like blindly throw it around the corner. So maybe Bumper's trying to gain like a little bit of vision of who's up there, and then you know you want to come around there and use that grab. Summon Su now is dropped to the bottom, so that's not the strat here. They'll come around.
Summon Su is knocked down. He's the only one hit by that shatter there. It's not really enough for the Valiant to get themselves a lead in the early part of this fight. Self-destruct. Oh, there it is again. Yes, all you intellectuals out there, it wasn't just Janu, but it's enough for the Vancouver Titans anyway. And then clean up that fight. Very timely for them, as they do want to start playing into the third phase of this map, and that was the fight to win. Gets himself over the line.
So you can tell when those self-destructs go up, then we get that free cam coming, and like you see the Reinhardt just kind of like look up in the sky with both of his arms up like side to side. You know like something big's about to happen. The Suns have came through. They'll pick it up. Let's see if the Valiant can coordinate theirs though. You know, Kareev with the grab, space with the self-destruct. There's the grab. Self-destruct up in the sky. Let's see if they get the pin.
Bumper going down there, and still the Valiant not already able to capitalize with that bomb dropped in. Doesn't really matter. The one kill is enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the self-destruct that picks up the kill, but still, you know, it's the...
No, I demand self-destruct kills every fight. I don't think that's unreasonable, based on what this match has provided. I want it. I want
Fate,
what I want.
You can play close here, because Fate's got the Shatter. Izayaki will have Transcendence in case they counter with anything else.
Rappel uses Transcendence in the prior fight, unfortunately for him.
I think this is where, if you're the Valiant, like how good is your, you know, ult tracking of the other team? You have to have an idea that Vancouver doesn't really have much. As soon as you run in and pick up those kills and don't see anything come out in terms of support ult, you imagine they're not that close. So you can use the Shatter, and then you can use the Transcendence just to keep everybody up. The issue is you need to have Kareev get this grab before you see Summon Su get his, because you don't want to burn that Transcendence to try and keep everybody up, win the fight too early. Vancouver like disengage, and then
Rappel! Oh, he just fell off. He just slipped off the docks. There was no one that actually assisted him in that regard. An unfortunate slip up there. Look, when you bring in that big shipment of fish, sometimes the decks get a bit slick with the grease. He's just gone over. Oh, maybe not cut out. Maybe his sea legs weren't quite there, man. But regardless, the Titans won't get the start in that fight that we're looking for at all. And this should be pretty open and shut case now, as they'll be stopped here just outside of that second checkpoint on offense.
look, I mean, people fall off the map all the time, but that's a bad spot to do it. Time in the game, you know, I don't think it was like super close to Transcendence. We'll have to take a look.
I've fallen off boats before. It happens. My brother pushed me, actually, but it's still.
But still, I mean, Zenyatta in this meta is able to just build up Transcendence so fast that, like, even if you're at like 60% and that fight goes for a little bit, like, you're probably gonna get it. It's just tough. We don't know. We'll take a look here. See if he just kind of
chilling
off, or do you boop?
Peace. You're trying really hard to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm trying. Dude, maybe it was the speed boost and you didn't know it was coming, or maybe you thought.
Well, actually, if he was in midair, he'd already jumped.
Yeah.
Then it's possible that.
Because that happens at like when you play, you know, sometimes you like run around and Lucio jams the speed and you don't realize it. Like you just jump and your slight left movement becomes far left, and then you end up in the drink.
Okay, no, you know, I feel that we didn't have to use too much mental gymnastics there. I think that was actually pretty reasonable. Benefit of the doubt, always give it. Sominsu and Johnny just gonna be chilling. I don't know. Do we see some wackiness out of the Valiant? The Valiant have to expect the Vancouver Titans to also play similarly aggressive on the defense, right?
I don't think so. I mean, the Valiant haven't really shown us anything Super chaotic slime here.
What is Slime? Slime
Going
is...
for the Reddit Lucio clip here.
exactly. He's actually right at the top of your screen. Here you go. Yeah, he chills.
This is like a Sting from like back in the day wrestling. Like he comes from the Raptors here.
It's like Altair in Assassin's Creed. They just jump down on someone.
No, nothing.
No good. All right.
We hyped that up. Now they're gonna all die.
Look, if you don't hype it up, then you get caught by surprise. Izayaki just gonna stagger Janu out. So that first forward defense doesn't exactly come up with the goods.
That could have been really cool, but it was kind of horrible how that ended for Vancouver. But they'll get another fight here. So, you know, they don't give up. Like, I guess the better part is like they don't give up a ton of like ult charge to the Valiant. If you're Vancouver, even if you gave up the ult charge, you still feel pretty good about how you turn these fights around. So this will probably be the last fight of point A.
Margin of error pretty slim here for the Titans now, but they really know how to hit the ground running when the fights are very important like this. And guess what happened? Bumper gets the first kill in a fight. Always a good sign for Vancouver.
What's interesting though is that, like, you know how like Vancouver, when they have the ultimate advantage, they get really aggressive and they know it. Like that fight, nothing really like happens for the Titans, so they don't really have a ton of ultimates. But Bumper,
Bump's in trouble here. Johnny trying to protect him.
Definition of bad positioning here.
Okay. They're committing so much.
Let's double down. Why not? Get him out. Get him out. All right. So we use trance to keep Bumper alive.
That is not what I would consider a tactical extraction.
Hey, why not, man?
That's so good. All right, he's already coming out from both sides now. Bumper needs to make up for that with a nice big shatter in this next fight. Self-destruct's in. Bumper not in a position to actually force the Valiant to eat that explosion. So now he backs up. He's caught in a grab. A little bit sloppy. Perhaps not as clean execution from the Titans this time around, but the Valiant done a good job of exploiting that.
You know what they could have used in that grab there to keep Bumper and Summons to alive? Could have used that Transcendence they used to get.
They didn't have Transcendence. Why didn't they have Transcendence?
Yeah, he was in the Valiant spot, you see.
Oh, okay, right. Sounds like there and back again, a Hobbit's tail. Bumper with the shadow. Okay, that's filthy. Caught a few people on that one. Forced the Transcendence out of Izayaki. And again, that's an equitable trade. You feel okay about that one. The grab on the backside is interesting. Okay, yeah. I am convinced I'm being trolled by Bumper. No, he's definitely trolling me.
I love it.
Okay. Slime doesn't get away with that one. Kareem just sends it back with a right click.
The card hasn't moved. Yeah. So you've invested a lot of these ults and you haven't really given up anything from, quite frankly, either side. I mean, so you'll be able to build them right back up.
I don't know, man.
So now it is quieted down for a little bit. So you come to this next fight, Kareem will have the grab. You do have Transcendence this time for the Titans, so you'll be able to live through it. We'll see though, Fate maybe, you see they're playing the high ground Vancouver, they're gonna actually wrap around.
Look at that, very quick push.
Getting very close to the edge here too.
Slime down, Bumper knocked into the drink, Transcendence still committed to the fight. Repel unfortunately not having a full 6 teammates to give that healing over to.
Well, the best part is that they commit that Transcendence, right? And if you're a Valiant fan, you didn't even use your grab, you're gonna have your own Transcendence, self-destruct.
You feel good,
Sound barrier, you feel really good.
This is what your Valiant team looks like when they've got a bit of momentum under their belt. Not too shabby at all. Payload just ran in the corner behind Kareem and Co. So they're very close to their goal, essentially. 2 minutes, 53 seconds to get the checkpoint just in front where Bumper's standing. There's plenty of time. Both teams have a lot of ultimate, though. So straight away, Graviton's used on Kareem's general direction shatter. Fate not knocked down by that one, but the boop across. Self-destruct in the back. No one fell by that one either. Both teams trying to go for Diva ults, getting nothing. 5 players get a sound barrier on the side of the Valiant, and Kareem goes for that Graviton surge now. Shatter from the backside. Bumper not able to make anything happen there. And a clean fight for Los Angeles. Puts them on the final stretch, just around the corner. And that'll get them at least a map in this series, as we mentioned earlier. That still matters.
Yeah, and they push forward. They get 1 kill. Trying to snagger. They back all the way out here. As, they will have Rally. Rally, though, going up against Sound Barrier and Transcendence. Not ideal. You may end up losing this fight if you're the Valiant.
Still,
that next one would look pretty good for you.
They're still in best of Rally, though.
Yep.
Fate charging Johnny doesn't not quite enough to demech the guy. They still get there. The Titans can only just watch from a distance as the payload sails home, and the Valiant get themselves a map in this series. Some big overextensions, a lot of aggression in general being exhibited by the Titans. The Valiant were finally able to use that to their advantage. Again, still didn't quite conquer the Sasquatches or Bigfoots or whatever you want to call them. They look very, very good, Vancouver, and they move up to 4-0 as well, giving the old side eye to the NYXL across the divisional table.
You know, Vancouver looked very strong throughout the series, even though they lose this final map. But I really want to see them and NYXL go out. I think clearly at this point, them two sitting at the top of the league, very strong. I think you can make a case for Paris up there as well in this meta. But I know Vancouver with yet another strong performance.
Yeah. Important to point out that the LA Valiant are not officially eliminated from the Stage 1 playoffs.
Very true.
Mathematically, they can still make it. It's heavily conditioned, though. Will require a few teams to drop a couple more matches. The Valiant definitely need to win out from here and start to look dominant. But again, the Titans, we really can't read too much into how that last map went from them. They look squeaky clean in those first 3 maps, and then maybe let their hair down a little bit more. Nice to see Rappel on stage. Again, the chaos from a few of those fights that Vancouver created made it a little bit hard to get a good feel for him. But hoping to see more of him on the stage. But now we're going to head down to the stage with Danny and a very special main support.
Thank you, Mr. X and Uber. What is up, everybody? I am here with Slime from Vancouver Titans. Make some noise. Thank you, thank you. Congratulations. Now, with today's win, you have 4-0 record. 4 wins, 0 losses. You guys are on top of the league. How confident are you that you guys could keep this momentum going? 자, 오늘의 승리로 이제 밴쿠버 팀이 4대 0이라는 레코드를 가지고 있습니다. 한 번도 진 적이 없죠. 지금 굉장히 좋은 기세로 승승장구하고 있는데 이 기세를 좀 스테이지 플레이오프 때까지 유지할 수 있을 거라고 확신하십니까?
1시즌 스테이
네, 그죠.
1시즌 플레이오프 끝날 때까지 단 한 번도 안 질 것 같아요.
I could guarantee that up until stage 1 playoffs, we will not lose a match. Nice. Great confidence. I love that. Second question. So earlier today, Anamo, during his post-match interview, said that NYXL is the best team for 3-3 meta. Let's take a look. It says, we're the best 3-3 team, Anamo. And then 2 reactions to that statement. We have Slime just looking very concerned and Bumper just laughing. 이거에 대해서 좀 설명 좀 해주세요. 지금 보시면은 이제 아나모 선수가 3대3, 3-3 조합, 아니 3-3 메타에서는 우리 NYXL이 제일 세다라고 했는데 이런 리액션을 지금 해주셨어요. 이거에 대해서 조금 설명 좀 해주세요. What's going on here?
좀 처음 들었을 때는 뉴욕도 3-3이 세긴 하지만 저희 플레이 스타일이 재밌기도 하면서 되게 하드한 게임을 많이 해서 그러니까 즐거운 플레이도 얼굴에 담고 좀 빡게임 할 때도 얼굴에 담았는데 그래도 뉴욕은 저희가 이길 것 같아요.
It is true that NYXL is a strong team, but we are having a lot of fun in this meta and for this composition. So ultimately, we are better. Alrighty, cool. Thank you, Slime. Everybody, give it up for Slime. That's all I have for now. Back to you, Uber and Mr. X.
Spicy. Yes,
Yeah.
more of that.
I
Keep
tell you-
my
I tell you
meals
why,
nice and seasoned.
I tell you why Bumper's laughing. It's because he's not the one that has to support him running in. Slime's looking at him like, I have to follow you in there. He just charges on in. He don't care.
I mean, pretty reasonable for Slime to say that they expect the Titans as a team expect to sort of win every match between now and those stage finals.
I ain't gonna
Not
argue-
guaranteed,
I ain't gonna
but
argue with that.
I understand the confidence. Hey, let's dive now very quickly in towards our own by HP player of the match. And this one, that's pretty easy to be honest. Slime is going to be your player of the match. What a monster.
Made a lot of really nice group plays to help set up. Well, in one environmental kills. Also, he was able to set up a lot of the grab self-destruct combos you see here. Just a quick boop. Probably would have been a kill anyway. Haxall gets the stun. But you still give him the props. And I think when you looked at him play Lucio, and I think it kind of goes for Kuki, and I would say Custa as well. Like, some of these Lucios in the league have just really sick movement. They're able to just go so fluidly off of objects. You see that with Slime, all the way up on the high ground. Don't really see that from Kuki that much. I think that's still something as he moves from a main tank to a support he's going to have to do. But really sick series here from Slime.
And this guy makes being reincarnated as a Slime look pretty darn good. 6 environmental kills is a lot. They're not kills you normally expect. Matt, give me a funny face because he's not a weeb. It's okay,
yeah,
mate.
No,
sometimes ignorance is actually
Went
bliss.
right over my head.
Let's have a look at where our league sits now. Our 2 teams very much at the top of the perch, Matt.
Yeah, as NYXL up there, they have the one match, and they have the map advantage there as the +10 as opposed to +9. Paris in there as well. We'll get to see them this week as well. Atlanta's still hanging around. And then, you know, then you see the Valiant all the way down at the bottom there. I know even behind the Justice, not a great spot to be if you're the Valiant.
Yeah. We have teams that have played 5 games or some that have played 2, so we expect this to even out much more
It'll all even out.
as the season goes on. But coming up next, this one is going to be an absolute barn burner. The revitalized Shanghai Dragons will be taking on the Chengdu Hunters right here, right now. Actually, no, in a bit of a 5 minutes or so, so stick around for that, and we'll see you very shortly.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered.